y'all. This is Beyond 21 Podcast. I'm KateLynn.
And I'm Callie.
And happy St. Patrick's Day, people.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Well, by the time you see this, it'll be one day past St. Patrick's Day, but for those of you just listening on the audio podcast only, it'll be St. Patrick's Day. Sunday. So, Jesus is always watching, so don't get too crazy on St. Patty's Day this year, people.
Yippers.
So today we're going to be talking about our third part in the 3-part series about pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. Today will be my postpartum journey. So, is there any business you want to take care of before we get into the audio?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I'm crazy.
Yeah. Yes, I have business to take care of.
Okay,
we'll
tell
just
us your
skip right
business.
to it. So, I have a shout out, shout out, but I have a review that I wanted to read off. And I'm shouting out Catherine Peak.
Catherine?
Childhood best friend, I remember...
Church bestie.
I was about to say, I remember when, I don't know what year it was, but we would play Shawn Mendes music and go over there and get her and play Treat You Better.
In like 2013 or 14.
Yeah, we would go over there to her house because she lives just right down the road, and because KateLynn can drive, and we would all go to VBS together at Piney.
Oh my gosh,
so
yes, we were in the youth
we would
class.
sing Shawn Mendes there and back every day, Monday through Friday. It was great. I think about that often.
Stitches was a bumping song at the time.
And I was really surprised that you even liked Shawn Mendes music.
I didn't for long.
I know, but it bumped when he came out with Treat You Better. And I think the other one was Mercy. But
what was that one with Camila Cabello?
I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, I liked that one a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
I want to read off her review.
Yes, read off her review.
So the title, I guess that's the title.
Yeah, that's the title.
Is Childhood Besties with the emoji. And it says,
for all the people out there listening only, what is that thing you just did?
Oh, I'm sorry. I did a heart with my hands because that was the emoji that she put. Okay, so it says, I love y'all, in all caps. Seeing our home movie sessions turn into a big girl podcast makes me miss y'all so much. Very sweet, Catherine.
Very sweet, Catherine. We miss you too. I know you're at JSU popping off. I think she was in the band at JSU, right?
Marching Southerners, yes.
Yep.
She's got her guy now.
Yes, I've
heard good things about him, Catherine, so keep him. And, Guy, if you're listening, don't know your name, but keep her. She's a good one.
She is a very good one. Comes from a very great family. I love her family, too.
Yes.
So, you ready to get into this whirlwind of emotions, literally?
Well, I think we have other business to take care of first, do we not?
Yes, we do. But we're going to do that in the next segment, so just give us just a minute to get ready. Because we do need a pair of scissors before we get started.
I got some scissors.
Okay, well, let's go get the scissors, and we'll be right back with y'all in just a second. Alright, guys, we're back. Callie got the scissors.
I thought for a minute there I was going to cut the actual microphone.
That would have been
scared.
You would have been in trouble if you would have done that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she got the scissors. We're prepared now, and we're about to open some of our newest equipment. Thanks to all of you people out there who have bought ads and participated in our iPad raffle.
We really appreciate you so much.
And we're gonna, right after we get done opening all this stuff up, we are going to, we're gonna equally name off the list of people who helped us to achieve this goal and are continuing to help us achieve this goal. So everybody that has ever given us an ad or bought in the iPad raffle, right now, we're gonna give you a shout out as soon as we get done opening up our little goodie from you guys.
Yes.
So without further ado, Callie, take the big box. For those of you that are out there listening on our audio only podcast, we have an Amazon box here that got ordered 2 days ago. And we're going to tell you in just a minute what it is. I'm going to let Callie open it up so the people on the video podcast can see it. I don't want to ruin it for anybody.
They're not in boxes.
They should be. That
They're
first
not.
thing is in a box.
Oh.
So this right here is cords to something.
These are so cute.
So we are now proud owners of some actual mics. I think it's called Fifine or something like that. I don't know. But
Fancy dancy mics.
These are actual mics. And we're going to have some big news coming up that require these mics. That these little mics that we have here are about to be just strictly vlogging mics. So, but these right here, guys, these are something that we have been wanting to get for a while, ever since we started this podcast, but we could not afford it without all of you guys.
Yes.
So, while Callie,
thank you for making this come true, okay? What is this?
That's the base. So, while Callie's over here opening it up and stuff, I know, isn't it cute? Look at it.
It's so squishy.
Oh, wow. That seems like a good mic. And we got these off of Amazon, so I think they're actually going to be super, super good mics. They can connect to a boom arm, and so eventually we'll have a table, and they'll be...
Look at it.
I know.
Oh, never mind. It stops.
But, like, let me just hold it real quick. Can you look up my raffle thing so we can show them? Like, listen, look at how... Sorry, I'm way away from the mic, but, like, look at the spin on this mic. I mean, like, and it stays, like, where you want it. And so we may end up just, like, kind of holding these or just keeping them on the table here in front of us.
We need to test them out real quick to see if we can use them for this episode.
We don't have the mixer yet. The mixer is on order, guys, so don't worry. But I'm talking into this mic. Let me just put this one behind this one. We're so excited about these, y'all. Callie's getting the our shout out list pulled up. Did you look at my page?
I found it.
Just click on the original and we'll scroll down. And so we're gonna keep this mic sitting right here for all of you guys to look at. Callie's water bottle is just kind of casually sitting in the way.
But stay hydrated.
So you read off half of them, and then you read to like 16, and then I'll read the rest. Some of them are duplicates, so.
Okay. So we got Crimson Colbert, Abby Walker Mobbs, Rainy Ray, Michelle Davis, Bella Tosh twice, Tina Laney, Amanda Walker, Riley Shaw, Madison Sorrentino.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
She went to school with me. She was a grade ahead of me.
Okay.
She's married to Mason Sorrentino that was in my grade. They have a beautiful little baby named Whitley.
Okay.
She's precious.
Oh. Emily Williams, Bella Tosh again, Carol Rickman, Abby Walker Mobbs again, Kendall Perry, Hunter Bailey, Katrina Jolly.
That's our mother, KateLynn Jolly. And then we have Dylan Dowdy.
No, you skipped Bella again.
Well, I wasn't going to shout everybody out like 2 or 3 times. I figured that was too repetitive.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, Dylan Dowdy, Stacy Vines, Edna Jolly, that's our grandmother. Carson Prater, Megan McGatha, Nico Guyton, Robin Clements, Andrea Twilley, Michael Hudson, Blake Gossett, Aaron Phillips, Jitson Riley Alexander, Mason Sorrentino again, and Tori Bohannon. So that's all the people that helped us recently in our raffle to where we were able to purchase these mics and purchase our mixer.
And we gotta shout out everybody that's been buying an ad, which is...
Well, let me tell her the winner of the...
Oh, my bad.
The winner of the iPad was Stacy Vines. She's one of my coworkers. I talked about her in my pregnancy episode. I believe that's when we talked about her. Or mentioned her one time. But anyway, so thank you all for buying a spot in our raffle. So Callie's going to go ahead and tell us about the people that have bought an ad from us so far.
So I know that we've got our parents, Bo and Katrina Jolly.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Granddaddy. He purchased an ad from us for our church, New Bethel Baptist Church. We are welcoming. We have open arms for you if you would like to come.
If you guys hear the dogs barking in the background, we're terribly sorry. We can't catch a break from these dogs barking.
But when I get to share the good news, then we won't have to worry about them anymore. So,
are you wanting me to say the rest of the people?
Well, I was going to, but
okay, go ahead. You stopped and looked at me like you wanted me to say it, so I didn't know.
No. And then we have Jennifer Bailey, which is Hunter's mom. And then
Zach Fife.
Zach Fife
was a grade ahead of us in school, one of Blake's friends.
Yes.
Well, he's one of everybody's friends. He's everybody's friend.
Yeah.
Very sweet guy.
Who else we have?
Connie Geimer.
Yep.
She's our aunt, and she owns a local clinic called Cherokee Family Healthcare. So you guys hear that ad often if you're listening to our audio podcast.
And Abby Walker. Mobs.
Yes. Abby Walker Mobs. Yes, that's my best friend. So I think that's it. We're going to get on into our subject now. But just wanted to shout everybody out and tell everybody thank you. Alright, so before we get started with this whole postpartum thing, do you have any questions you want to ask me? Anything like that?
No, I'll get to the questions as usual whenever. I'll interrupt you.
Okay. So, in our last YouTube video, most of our podcasts got, there was a segment, I think it was at the very end, that our podcast had to be cut because our camera stopped recording at 20 minutes. So, I'm going to go back before. This would technically be postpartum because I had her and then this stuff happened. But right after I had her, we went back to the room. Remember, we were talking about how kind Angel was to me, how she was all up in my grill, cleaning me up and doing all that stuff. She was such a kind nurse. Like, you know, they lay you on this, we were talking about a puppy pad or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, you're just kind of free bleeding or whatever.
Can I just say real quick?
I know it's kind of graphic.
No, I was rewatching the, rewatching the episode where you said something about you peeing on yourself, and I laughed just as hard the other day. Excuse me. I laughed so hard the other day. Like, reliving it, and I just wish so bad that you were here to laugh with me again, because it was so funny.
Was it that funny?
Yes, I died. I felt like I was letting the dogs out, and I was just like,
you're like knee slapping,
bro. I was.
So after we did all that, and she helped me get cleaned up, and she showed me what I needed to do, you know, and how kind she was. Everybody. Well, it was actually before that, everybody started coming and seeing Halen and seeing me, and after it was all said and done and after everybody left, you know, it was kind of like, wow, like, I actually have to take care of this baby now. Like, these nurses aren't going to come in and, like, do anything. I mean, they're going to come in and wake me up every 2 hours and check me, but they're not going to
do it for you.
They're not going to do it for me. Like, I'm not going to sit there and get a good night's rest, you know, like.
Yeah.
And, of course, at first she was fine. Like, she didn't wake up.
I was about to say, was she sleeping the whole night?
Yeah, and then, like, as soon as I laid down and got good enough sleep, she woke up and was, like, starving to death, because you can only feed them, like, an ounce at a time when they're that little, because their stomachs are only, like, the size of a cherry, I think. Their stomachs are so tiny.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and then over the next few days, they expand and they grow. So, like, you're laying there, okay? Of course, I didn't know it at the time, but that medicine had, like, swelled me up. And so I was so full of, like, fluid that, like, and my hormones were trying to bounce back out. I was having the night sweats, dude. I thought it was the bed. And, like, I would wake up and I was pouring sweat. And it was, like, so weird. And I was like, this bed must have a heater on it.
Oh, my gosh.
Because I'd never, like, sweat like that in the bed. And it was, you know, pretty bad. And so, anyways, we stayed in there, like, 2 days. And it got better. And I wasn't in a ton of pain, but they were, like, making me take, what do you call them? Stool softeners, iron pills, all that stuff. They don't take the IV out of your hand straight after birth. They leave it in there for, like, the next whole day so that you're not, if you need it, they don't have to reinsert it. So, like, I had that needle stuck in my hand the whole time, and I was like, can y'all take this out? And they're like, no, we can't take it out.
Did it hurt when they put it in?
Yes, it hurt when they put it in. It was the worst part of everything.
Like, worse than when they take blood out of your arm, or did it feel the same?
Well, I mean, it's like the top of your hand. Like, there's not a whole lot of bad nerves right there, but your skin is so thin and it's like bone right there.
I'm trying to pinch and see if I'll...
Oh, it'll hurt, I'm telling you. So, as we're going home, you know, we get ready to go home and they come in there and, we thought they were going to check the car seat. They never checked the car seat. You know, they never tried to make sure that she was strapped in right. They were just like, yeah. And we loaded up all of our stuff. And
do you feel like that's a mandatory thing that they should do, is make sure?
Yeah, I think they should make sure people know how to use a car seat, even if you've been there 5 or 6 times. Like, I feel like that's something that's very important. Like, car seat safety is very important to me. You know, because and I've actually said this before, like, I have a friend that she doesn't buckle the chest piece up on her kid, and, like, I don't agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I should say something, but I'm not going to, because it's not my business, and I don't want to make her angry with me, because I know that's her child and all that, but, I'm kind of torn between whether I should say something or not, but I just don't, because I hope that she will learn by me sharing car seat safety things on Facebook that she shouldn't do that.
I think that
I'm not trying to tell her how to parent her child. I feel like I'm overstepping bounds when I say.
But it's kind of like the same thing that I did the other day. You know what I'm saying? With the milk, I didn't want to try to overstep.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, the child safety is the most important thing. So like,
yeah,
if you were to say something, I would just be like I would wait.
Hey, I don't really think that's
go out
the best
with her
idea.
again and watch her not do it and be like, you don't buckle that up. And when she says no, just be like,
I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but
I think
honestly,
you really should, because you don't want to hurt. You don't want something to end up happening, and
because
you were in the
car when we were talking about it, and Blake and Hunter were talking about, because I had asked him, I was like, if she doesn't buckle that up, what would happen to the child if they were to get in a wreck? And Blake was like, it would literally snap them in half, like their lower half of their body would be in the seat, and their upper half would not even be there. They'd be kind of like cut.
Because the lower half is contained down, and then the top half would just be flying.
That's just hard for me to. I couldn't imagine. Not trying to mom shame. I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to mom shame, but like, I couldn't imagine not buckling my kid in the right way. Like, KateLynn hates being buckled in a car seat, and she hates how tight it is. But I would rather her scream and cry because it's too tight and she doesn't like it being tight than us get in a wreck and her go flying out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
So, honestly, I can deal with some screaming if my kid is not going to get slung out of a car.
As long as your kid is safe, then that's all that matters, or all that should matter.
So, they were coming in, and of course, Blake was out loading the car up, and I was laying there with her, and of course, she still had her little umbilical cord stump. That's what they call it, the stump. Umbilical stump. So, I had all those gaudy hospital bracelets on, dude, and like, my bracelet, I was exhausted, and my bracelet had hung on her stump. I didn't know it, and I kept trying to do like this, and I wasn't paying attention. Like, I should have been paying attention. Like, this is the first time I ever cried over her. Like, I hung it on her stump, and when I pulled and I realized I was yanking her umbilical stump, it made me feel like the worst person, because I was so irritated.
It makes me sick.
Oh my god. I sat there. It didn't hurt her. She never made a peep. She never moved. But it hurt me, because I felt like I hurt her. And like, when Blake come back in, I lost it.
Aww.
I mean, I was
Where were
crying.
the nurses?
They were not in there, because it was the day that we were leaving.
Yeah.
And like, I was so embarrassed. I was like, why couldn't I just slow down, like, and stop getting irritated over small stuff like that? Anyway, so after that, we ended up leaving the hospital. We were on our way home, and when we got home, y'all had made a sign that was on the front door or the front porch. It was like a sheet or something.
It was a sheet.
They had painted, and it said "Welcome home."
We literally, I had to go to work that next morning at like 5:00, and I stayed up that night until like 12 or so, painting that thing. Like, I didn't do it by myself, but Carly did it, and like, I did what part that I needed to do, and then they did other little outlines and stuff. But I told them, I said, y'all, like, it's midnight, like, I gotta go to bed because I gotta be up in like 4 hours anyway. So
yeah. So the got home. Everybody came over to the house. I was in a little bit of pain then. The postpartum exhaustion is unreal. You don't realize how tired you're going to be until you're so tired that you can't even function, but you have to function. Because if you don't, then how are you supposed to take care of your kid? That is that's something out of this world. Like, I never thought I would be so tired there at the beginning. Like, and no shade at Blake, but like, I was the one getting up in the middle of the night.
yeah.
Because Blake he couldn't hear. Like, he's such a deep sleeper, he couldn't hear, and I could hear everything. And there was sometimes he couldn't even do anything to like soothe her. Like, it had to be me.
Well, okay, I do have a question. I actually thought about this the other day. How was that first night when you did lay down? Like, she was laid down in her bed and you were laid down in yours. Like, how was that? Could you not help but to think about her and like how pretty she is, or did you think like, oh, I'm worried about her, or did like, was there ever a time where you were like, I need to see her again, like
Are
that
you
kind of
talking
thing?
about the first night in the hospital or first night home?
Either one.
Well, both times she was right there beside me. So I never had to worry. She was in a little bassinet thing. So I never had to worry about getting up and looking at her or anything like that. Like, I could go to sleep because I was tired.
Oh, okay.
But
But I'm saying like you were never so excited. You were like, "Ooh, I have a
no,
baby."
because after you get up 15 times a night and then you get up all day long and you don't have any sleep, when you lay down, you're not like, oh, I got to get up and look at her all night long. Like, you'll understand one day, like, you love them, but you're like, I got to go to sleep because if I don't, I'm going to be so tired that I either fall asleep with them in my arms and take the risk of smothering them. I mean, it's like you're in survival mode. You're not worried about how pretty they are. You think about how pretty they
What about
are
now
during the
though?
day. What about
Like
now? What?
sometimes now when you put her to bed, do you just like not want to put her to bed because you just want to see her and how pretty she is?
No,
Like, because she's
I
just
mean,
so happy. I
I'll
feel like.
look at her, but like I don't just not want to put her to bed. Like I'm obsessed with her, but I'm not crazy to not put her down when she's
Needs to be put
sleepy
down.
and when she's tired. When she needs to be put down, I put her down. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, the tiredness, absolutely unreal. The anxiety, absolutely unreal. I think I had postpartum anxiety. I do not think I had postpartum depression, but I'm gonna get to that. The pain was not too bad. I had a pretty decent. Um,
Where
I
was your
didn't have
pain
a
at? Like a period cramp, or
no.
like
It
it was
was more
there where you
your
tore?
bones,
Oh,
because your bones stretch out,
that's true.
and it was more my bones than it was anything. I remember specifically. Um, the whole time I was pregnant, Mama had talked me into doing that Blue Cross Blue Shield Baby Yourself program. They'd call me every couple of weeks and check on me.
That's pretty
She
cool.
called me 2 days after Halen, or after we had gotten home with Halen, and we were talking, and my hormones were all out of whack, and so I was all out of whack. Like, I was crying all the time, and I didn't want anybody to know I was crying because I felt like I'd be weak. And she was asking me these postpartum questions.
Like what?
Like, do you love your baby? Do you love yourself?
Did that make you mad?
It made me mad, and it wasn't. It's so hard when you're postpartum and your brain is telling you you're not good enough for your baby, you can't do this. I felt like I did have an issue. And I felt like if I answered those questions wrong, they were going to come and take her from me. And so some of those questions, she said, I know one. Have you, in the last, since your baby's been born, cried for no reason at all? I lied and said no. I lied on a couple of those questions. Not any that was serious, not that I wanted to hurt myself or hurt Halen, but there was some like emotional questions that, like, it was like 30 questions. And when I got done answering the questions, and she said, well, congratulations. I hope you have a great day. Like, I lost it. I mean, when I got off the phone with her, like, I was just like, I'm a terrible parent. Are you crying?
Yeah, that makes me very sad.
Like, it's hard. Like, it's hard to understand what that feels like until you've done it. And like,
I just,
I just felt I felt alone. Like, I felt like I was all by don't cry because you're going to
I'm
make me
sorry.
cry.
I just, you know how I am. Like I
I
empathize with people so much that like I am feeling your pain right now.
I had people, I had a
My
support
heart
system.
hurts bad.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make you
No, I
upset.
know,
But like,
it's fine.
I had a support system, but I felt like I was by myself.
Yeah.
Because I knew other people understood how I felt, but they didn't know what's going on in my brain.
Yeah.
And on top of me already having such bad anxiety, like, pile, no sleep, a baby that needs to be taken care of and put at the very top of your list, and then I felt like I was getting put last, you know, it's hard to, deal with.
But like her asking you those questions about do you love your baby, that kind of
It
thing.
made
Did
me
that
feel
not
like,
irritate you?
it made
Like
me
were you just
feel
like, well,
like,
yeah, I love my baby. Like
I got defensive.
Yeah,
it
that's
made
what
me
I'm
feel
saying.
like I didn't love her. And I
Okay.
thought
It made
And
you
I-
feel like they were questioning.
and I felt like we weren't compatible.
Mm-hmm.
Cuz maybe this is an unpopular opinion and maybe I just have low self-esteem, but like I felt like me and her were not compatible. I felt like she didn't like me. I felt like I wasn't right for her. And that's hard to deal with when you feel like I'm all she's got and she could do better. And so that's
You
how
do
I
have a
felt.
low self-esteem.
I do have very low self-esteem. But that passed, and
How
after
fast do you think
2 weeks of that miserableness, like during the day I was fine, but it was like at night
you got
and in
worse?
the afternoon.
I feel like it's like that with anything with your anxiety. Like
I remember
you're
one
not gonna
point in
lie.
time I lost it so bad. Blake had to leave because he had to go take a bill to the co-op. He needed to go because if he didn't take it down there, it was gonna go late. You know, like it was like the last day to take it. It was due that day. And of course, it was 10 minutes from the house. And when he walked out of the door, I thought he was gone. And like I started crying, like I was holding her, and I was just crying over her. And when he come back in the house, he didn't leave. He come back in looking for my keys to my car to get the bill out. And he seen I was crying, and he thought that I was gonna hurt myself.
Oh.
He said he was terrified. And I was over there going, you know, like crying like that, and he had to go. Like he could have stayed, but I didn't want him to. I was like, you need to go pay that bill. I'll be okay. And he said the whole time he was gone, he was on edge because he was so scared when he got back I was going to be like dead.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to have to be labeled as an explicit episode after that one. So
what? Like, did you talk to him about how you felt?
No, I don't like talking to people about how I feel about stuff because
Do you talk
I feel
to him
weak.
now about how you used to feel?
I don't really talk about it. This is kind of an exclusive. This is the first time I've really told people how I felt because this is the first time I feel like I've been able to explain how I felt. I've not thought about it much. Sometimes I do on occasions, but really I don't for the most part because it's just one of those things, you know, that's a big deal and I don't talk about it. But let's
take a quick pause.
Yeah, let's take a quick pause for a commercial for the audio podcast, and then we'll be right back. Alright, so I keep saying alright, so.
It's
Alright, so.
Alright, so get to the point.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
So, I hate myself.
You don't.
Anyway, so postpartum now. It's a lot better. It does get better for all of you new moms out there or moms that have never had postpartum anxiety and now you have them. It does get better. You will be okay. You just have to get through those hard times and your body's trying to regulate itself and it's really not you that, you know, it's a different version of you that you're having to deal with and you're kind of battling your own body. You're battling your own mind. And like, it's almost like you're under like, I guess it would be kind of like spiritual warfare. Instead of the devil, well, I guess it would be kind of like the devil is like getting in your brain and telling you you're not good enough for her.
Yeah, self-doubt.
You deserve nothing. You don't deserve this kid. All this stuff. Anyway, how I feel now, I feel great. I feel like I've bounced back.
You have a lot.
I feel like I'm very fortunate because a lot of people don't. And then there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want people to think that there's anything wrong with not bouncing back. But
luckily you did.
I did. You know, I'm gonna get into that here in a minute. I have a point here that I'm gonna make. Sorry. On my outline, I have a couple of things that I wrote that if I could tell myself 5 months ago these things, I feel like it would have helped me then. So if I knew then what I know now, these are some things I would say to myself. It will pass. I got chill bumps when I said that. Kind of cringy.
No, it's not. It's not cringy.
You're gonna
stop thinking that.
You're gonna be okay. It will go away. She'll stop crying. You'll be able to breathe. You'll be able to sleep again. So, the next point You're going to miss the newborn stage, even if it was the hardest part. It goes by before you know it, so try to enjoy it, even if it is too hard. So...
Yeah, because I remember you said you hate the newborn stage.
I didn't hate the newborn stage.
I thought you said you
It
were
was
ready
Blake.
to get... Oh, Blake, I'm sorry.
I
Blake.
love the newborn stage. I've loved every stage that she's been in. I remember when I first had her, me and Abby were talking, and I said, I don't want her to get any bigger than this. I want her to stay this little for forever. And Abby was like, everybody says that, you know, this stage that they're in right now is their favorite stage. And I thought, and it made me cry because I was like, how could I love her any more than I love her right now? And turns out she was right.
I'm loving her more than I did when she was a newborn because her smile
she
just
can do more
lights
now.
Up
and
the room.
And you know, I think that's how God designed it for, you know, them being so small, and then you kind of loving them, but then when they smile at you, and then
the
they laugh at
when
you,
it comes out,
and they start acting like who they're supposed to be.
It's adorable.
It's precious. I love it. I also want to go back real quick. I remember one specific time I was standing in the shower, and I complained a lot about being big pregnant. But I remember a couple days after I had her, I was standing in the shower, and I looked down at my stomach, and I had just a small little bump left. And I thought, I will never ever feel her kick me again. That tore me up.
KateLynn.
It tore me up so bad because I was like, I'll never feel that.
That's so sweet.
I thought I'll never feel, and I
got
upset. I got upset, like I cried, and I looked down, and I thought, and when I felt, it wasn't hard anymore. It was squishy, and I thought,
sweet.
She's not there anymore. Like I can't protect her from everything and everybody like I was. Stop, Callie. You're gonna make me cry.
I'm sorry. I can't help it. The more you say something about stop crying, it's just gonna make me cry more.
Anyway, but that was one of those things in that first 2 weeks. It was like it just tore me up. Like I couldn't explain it to anybody, and I felt like if I told somebody, it made me look like a coward, like a little
like
weak.
the way I look right now.
No, I think you look great crying, but I boo-hooed. I stood in the shower, silently cried so nobody could hear me. Like
I hate that. Like I know that you don't mean this anyway toward me, but I hate that you didn't feel comfortable enough to like tell at least me, you know, or somebody.
Well, it just didn't. I was like, this is not how it's supposed to be. Like, you know, it's gonna go away, and you know how I like to battle things on my own.
I know.
You know, I just hate bringing other people onto my problems.
I just
I
was scared. To depend on me.
I know, but I was scared y'all would think something was wrong with me. I was scared y'all would. I had to keep it a secret.
You thought we were gonna put you in a crazy house?
I thought that y'all would think I was crazy.
Yeah.
And I felt crazy. Because I thought, this is not me. That's not how I feel. You know how I am. And I don't normally feel things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, that was like scary. Because I was like, if I tell this lady on the phone,
God forbid she had any emotion behind anything,
that I was depressed or had anxiety, they may come and take her from me. And if she goes, this is what like mom brain will do to you. Like it will spiral and have an anxiety. You'll go from thinking that if you tell them you're weak, they will take your child away from you, and then they'll go into the system, and then there's no telling where they'll get put. And with mama being in the system, that's all I could worry about was if they take her from me, or if Blake thinks I'm crazy, I'll never see her again. Aww. And like I felt like I had to hide my emotions so that I could keep her. That's how I felt. That's not how it is. I wonder if that's a lot of. I think that's how
a lot of mothers feel.
I think it is. So,
I do have a question. I've been waiting.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Along. Well, I'm waiting for you to get until like kind of where she's at now.
Oh,
or closer to it anyway.
My next little thing that I would tell myself: you're a good mom. Don't let your mind tell you that you aren't.
You are a really good mom. Can I just say? Let me say this real quick. Okay,
She had to pick the mic up to say this little
is
bit
serious.
tidbit.
This is good mom example, okay? I didn't get to witness this, thank God. But I heard about it. Oh, I'm gonna puke. Alright. So KateLynn, had come home from work one day. KateLynn was here at the house because Mama was watching her or whatever. And KateLynn had a little bit of kind of like a crud, like she had some boogies in her nose.
Oh gosh.
KateLynn, this is so sick. Anyway, she's a
good
good mom though. I want everybody to know she is a good mom. I would have never done it. Mama said she'd have never done it. I know Mama wouldn't have done it. But
most would not have done it.
Thought that KateLynn couldn't breathe because she couldn't get her little boogies out of her nose.
And babies don't know how to breathe out of their mouth. Good.
Yeah. And so KateLynn put Halen's nose up to her mouth and sucked her boogers out with her mouth.
And spit them out.
Like
a champ. And for all of those
when I heard that, I wanted to throw up. But you know what? She got those boogers out of Halen's nose so that Halen could breathe good and not have to struggle. And if that ain't being a good mom, I don't know what is. Mother of the Year award goes to you.
Thank you. Honestly, you gotta do what you gotta do for your kid. I might not drink after, but by gosh, I'll suck a booger out of her nose if she can't breathe. I just want to clarify, I did spit them out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously she didn't eat them.
I did not continue. They didn't go any further than to the
stop.
To the towel.
I'm about to throw up.
Further. It was gross, but it needed to be done. And that's one thing about me. I may not be a good worker. I may not be a good daughter. I may not be a good sister. I may not be a good wife. But there's one thing about it.
You're a good mother.
I'm a good mom.
You are.
I'll tell myself that right now.
Yes! I just probably screamed. I'm so sorry.
So the next thing, I was talking about the one that I just read off. I was talking about earlier how I felt like me and her were not compatible.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I shouldn't have thought God made a mistake. I felt like God put the wrong baby with me. Because I felt like I wasn't good enough for her. I felt like I wasn't giving her enough. I felt like she needed somebody better. Because every time she would cry with me and I couldn't get her to stop crying, Blake would come in there and get her and she'd immediately stop crying. And that, to me, it hurt my feelings because I thought, why am I not good enough? She's known me longer than she's known anybody else.
Yeah.
And it made me feel like we were not compatible.
Well, let me point out.
I felt like we were two totally different people and I felt like she hated me.
I wonder if that's because, deep philosophy here. You know how I told you a while back when you first had her that your newborn child thinks that you and her are the same person?
Yeah.
I wonder if, because you hated yourself so much,
she hated me too.
I don't think she necessarily hated you, but she
felt
it.
That.
And she hated.
And I think babies also think, babies up until they get about 6 months old cannot decipher a difference between themselves and their mom.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So I think because you had so much self-hatred or doubt or whatever, that she felt that. And that's why she felt so disconnected, because you didn't connect to yourself. Yeah. So how was she supposed to connect to somebody who she thought was herself? You know what I'm saying? And so
I've never thought about that.
I just
that probably could have been
on the fly thought of it.
That's great philosophy there.
Thank you.
Socrates.
Thank you.
Did you pick up on that?
Mm-hmm.
Cool, I'm glad. Okay. If you feel the mom guilt, all those of you out there, I see you over there feeling that mom guilt. If you feel the mom guilt one day, the mom guilt tells you that you're doing a good job. If you didn't feel bad for banging your baby's head on the door frame by accident because you weren't paying attention, if you didn't feel bad for doing that, you don't love your baby.
That's true.
I banged Halen's head on the door frame when she was about 2 weeks old.
It's not funny.
I was on the phone with Mama doing this, and I had her right here, and I came around the corner too fast. Woo! Hit her head on the door frame. Woo! I mean, hit it kind of hard. And I went, And she looked at me. She didn't make a move. And then she seen how I reacted. Lost it. On top of that.
Was it the back of her head?
It was the side of her head.
Oh.
I was getting her bath ready. I was coming out of the bathroom. Carried her back in there. Water's too hot. I set her in the water. Water's too hot. She went crying because her head was hurting. Now her skin's burning. So, Mom of the Year award goes to me at that point in time.
Again.
I felt Blake come in there, and I was so angry because I needed his help. And he was too busy doing his other thing. And he thought I had it because he thinks I'm super mom. And
oh, so sorry.
I didn't feel like super mom, and he didn't think that I needed help. When he came in there and finally started helping, he just made me mad, and I just screamed at him and told him to get away from me as I was crying over her. She was crying, I was crying, Blake was crying. Not really, but he felt bad for me and her. The next one. I wrote these, they're all kind of cringy. I feel like they're cringy.
They're not cringy.
Maybe you don't
Stop saying that.
I wrote, you'll bounce back. It may take a while, but you'll go back to almost normal. Don't worry about the way you look. Your husband still loves you and the way you look. Good. Praise God. For those of you out there that have husbands that don't love you after you have your baby, leave him. Take your kids and get away from him. Because that's not real love. Just wanted to do a little PSA there. The just wait people are wrong. Those negative people are wrong. And the just let them cry it out people are wrong. I don't want to hear any just waits. I don't want to hear any negative Nancy's. Just wait till they cry all night. You know the just wait people. Mm-hmm. Just wait till they blah, blah, blah. Anyway. And the just cry it out people. Let them cry. Let them lay in their bed and let them cry. They'll go to sleep. Yeah. Do you think I want my kid crying themselves to sleep? I know what that feels like. I've cried myself to sleep many times.
I understand.
I don't want my baby crying themselves to sleep. They cry because they're communicating with you. You know,
something's wrong.
I've thought sometimes there isn't anything wrong. Sometimes they just miss you. You know, I've got up many times in the middle of the night with her crying, and I've been so irritated at her because I'm getting awoken from my slumber. And when I hear a baby crying and waking me up, sometimes it kind of makes me a little mad when I've had to get up like 5 times. But you know, I couldn't imagine. I can imagine because I've woken up many times in my bed in this very room hollering for Mom and Daddy because I need them. So imagine how she feels. All she's ever known is me. You know?
And now, I want to point out something too. I used to have some, I guess there would be lucid dreams. And in these lucid dreams, it's like I'm actually laying down in my bed with my eyes open. And I hear something and it kind of like freaks me out. Sometimes I don't even hear anything. It's just quiet and I get really scared because I know something's wrong. Something's off. And I lay there and I scream my head off. And I'm not heard. My voice is not. My voice, yeah, I'm always hollering for Daddy. Because I feel like something's wrong and I need him to come protect me. But he doesn't hear me. And it's like every time in this dream, he's only one room away. So he should be able to hear me, but I have no voice. Like it's like I'm muffled. And I know how that feels. Because like when I actually do wake up, that fear is still there. And it's like, why did nobody come in here and help me?
So you can only imagine how a baby that doesn't know any different than being with their mom feels when they wake up in the middle of the night crying. So sometimes please don't
leave them laying there.
Don't do that. That is so.
I know how that feels, and it's such
you're
an
not
awful
creating
feeling.
good habits for them. Yet, if you got to get up multiple times in the middle of the night,
guess what? You signed up for that when you had the baby.
Yeah. You know, don't do that. I don't think that's right. I mean, you wouldn't want to be laying there crying all night and crying yourself to sleep. So, got a few more points. You cannot. Sorry, didn't mean to scream into the mic. You cannot spoil a newborn baby. I don't care what anybody says. They cry because they need communication. They're not crying because they're trying to manipulate you, because babies don't know how to manipulate. I hate when people say that. So I've got written here, so hold her as much as you want to for as long as you want. Those people that don't agree with that probably didn't love their kids as much.
Well, let me say this too. You're not going to be able to hold them forever. And when they get older, you're going to miss holding them. I ask Daddy all the time, do you miss us being that little? I do. I sure do. You know, and everybody will say that.
You take it for granted because whether you're paying attention or not, they're growing every day. And my now 5-month-old baby went from a newborn to 5 months like that.
Yes, she did.
It's hard to, when I go back and look at pictures, it's hard because I see how different she looked in each one. Like, she was getting a little bit bigger every day.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, those nights that I stayed up and took care of her at night, I wished them away because I was like, this is terrible. She's waking up all night long. Like, I wish she would just sleep. I wish she would just eat more to where I don't have to get up and feed her every 2 hours. Like, you wish all those things away, and then when you go back and look, you think, gosh, like, I wish I would have took the time to savor that moment.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's like, I know a lot of times I did bother her when she was here, when Mom and Daddy were watching her. I did bother her, and I disturbed her from her sleep or whatever because I wanted to get my time in to hold her because I knew I wasn't going to get to hold her much longer. You know, like, I knew it was going to go by really fast.
Yeah. So, I got 2 more points, and then I'm going to do them really quick, and then I'm going to go on to my next subject. So, your baby loves you. She cries with you the most because she feels the safest with you. Don't let your mind tell you that she doesn't like you. So, I talked about that one earlier. And the last thing that I wrote to myself was, in all caps, you are doing a fabulous job.
You are doing a fabulous job.
I do feel like I'm doing a good job.
You are. So proud.
Check us out in the next segment. Okay. I have a couple more things that I want to talk about before we end this episode. I feel like this has been one of our best ones.
This has been such a good episode. I cannot wait to go back and watch it.
Can't believe that tears actually got shed on camera.
Not even yours.
Yep, not even mine. Anyway, so I got a couple more things. One of them, expect major hair loss. Wow. There's one right there. Didn't take nothing but rubbing.
One whole hair.
No, but normally I'll just run my fingers through and I'll come out with clumps of hair.
It's probably your washing habits.
No, it's your hormones bounce back out. When Abby was cutting my hair, she had like a ball this big of hair that came out of my head when she was washing it. So expect postpartum hair loss. That's normal. It'll get better eventually. Going back to work was great. Didn't have a hard time going back to work. I did miss her. I did not cry. Did not feel like crying because I knew she was taken care of and I knew she was in good hands, so I didn't have to worry. And luckily, we have a good family that are, you know, Mom and Daddy watch her, Mom and Granddaddy watch her, Mom and Daddy watch her, and then you and Carly help also when you can. So I didn't have to worry about anybody sketchy taking care of her. I didn't have to worry about her going to a daycare. So I was glad about that. I'm trying to think of a couple more things. I don't have anything else on my outline.
I have something to say.
Oh, okay. Then go ahead and say it.
I have something to ask. So, how was it to have to trust, like, that first day that I took her in the car? How hard was that to trust letting her go with somebody other than you, like, driving wise?
It was hard. Not that I didn't. It wasn't that I didn't trust you. It was just I'm trying to think. Like, I trusted you that you would drive safe and take care of her. It was other people that I was worried a little bit about on the road. I'm always gonna feel like she's safest with me, and that includes Blake. Like, I'm always gonna think she's safer with me than with him. Or when it comes to driving.
Do you still get that way? Like, since I've been taking her this whole past week?
When you drove away yesterday morning, I literally stared till you got around the curve where I couldn't see anymore.
I felt like you were staring at me.
I definitely was.
Wow.
It wasn't. I was just staring. I was like, well, there they go. You know? And,
do you feel like it's easier to trust me now? Not that you didn't trust me before, but since I've had KateLynn so many times now carrying her in the car, is it easier or is it the same?
It's easier. And I always, you know, the reason why I always go and do the car seat myself is because I would hate for you not to do it right one time and something happened and then me not.
Is it because I told you I had a dream that I didn't do it right? Or do you
No. I just, with everybody, I know you don't know how to do it. Because
Well, I know how to do
I mean,
it,
I know
but-
you know how to do it, but like, I know you haven't had your own kid that you've done it with. It's not like second nature to you. It takes you maybe a little bit longer to do it than it would me or Blake.
I still don't know how to loosen those straps in that car seat.
I know it's hard to do, but I wouldn't want to hold anything against you.
I understand that. You don't want to end up.
I
If
don't
something
wanna
were
end
to
up
happen,
hating
you didn't
you.
want to resent me because I didn't strap your child in right.
Exactly.
I understand that.
And so that's why I just go ahead and do it, because I would rather it be my fault. God forbid, but I'd rather it be me than you.
Yeah, I will say backstory
Just like
on
with
this.
if it was your child, I'd rather you strap them in.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to be held accountable. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I'm popping this little thing.
Backstory for what we were just talking about. I'd been taking Halen here the past week because I had a lot going on. And so I didn't go to work. I worked from home and everything else. So I've been bringing Halen here at home or to my mom and granddaddy's house. And I asked KateLynn on Thursday, or I told KateLynn on Thursday, I said, I know how to strap her in, right? And I said, I don't want y'all to think I'm just lazy and expect y'all to take her out there and do it for me. Because all I was doing was going out and getting in my car and sitting in the driver's seat, waiting for them to strap her in, tell her bye, and close the door for us to leave. Like I told them, I felt so useless. And I was like, I didn't want them to think that I was using them and their kindness for doing it. And I said, I know how to strap her in, right? I mean, I said, I don't mind it, but is it just you want to do it yourself? Like you're more comfortable just doing it yourself? Or do you think that I just don't know how to do it? And she was like, no, I just prefer to do it. And I was like, fine by me. All I needed to hear. I just felt so bad for just being like, okay, well, put your baby in and then we'll leave,
Yeah. But I think that's all I have as far as postpartum goes.
Yeah.
So I guess we can go ahead and show ourselves out.
Okay.
So let's do our exit, and then we will, we're just gonna go ahead and, I'm just so confused right now. My train of thought just left me. If you guys know anything about me, it'd be like that sometimes.
So we're gonna take a quick break.
Disregard that stupid banter that I just laid out for you guys.
Yeah.
Alright guys, so I think that's gonna be wrapping us up for today. So first off, I hope you guys have a happy St. Patrick's Day.
Not too crazy though.
Not too crazy. Remember, Jesus is watching.
Yep.
Always. So, what do you have plans for St. Patrick's Day?
Well, I'm gonna go to church. I'm gonna wear my
Same.
green shirt.
I'm gonna make my sourdough bread.
Well, I'm going to her house and I'm gonna eat some of it.
We're going to Top of the River for lunch.
Who said?
Me and Blake planned it. We told Mama and Granddaddy we were telling you now.
Oh, okay.
So
See,
we're
look
going
at
to
our
top of the river for St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
We hope you guys loved our decor.
This is the last time you'll see it.
Yep, this is the last time you'll see it. No, actually it isn't. They'll see it next week too.
You sure?
Yeah, they'll see it next week too, and then we'll get decorated for Easter.
Okay.
We've got a couple great episodes coming up. Callie's gonna have an episode that's coming up after our Easter episode.
Super excited.
We cannot wait to share the good news and kind of why we bought these beautiful mics. Thankful for all of our sponsors, everybody that purchased in our raffle.
Yes, we would not be able to have the equipment that we're going to get without all of your support. We really appreciate it, and we ask that you just continue to support us by watching our stuff, sharing our stuff, telling people. Shout out to Connie. She was telling me the other day when I went to the doctor that she told some new people.
Oh, really?
I think about I'm pretty sure she said that. And then she was saying that like her and
Jennifer,
they talk about it all the time.
Yeah, she told me that too.
So
keep watching our YouTube videos. For all those of you out there that are listening only, go check out our YouTube video. That is going to be what helps us thrive, especially with the good news that we're about to share. Those videos are going to be more important, I think, with our good news that's coming up. Your good news that's coming up.
Yes. We're going on a vlog tomorrow.
Yes, listen, we're going to have more content on YouTube. We're going to be vlogging. We're going to have our cooking show with our grandmother and our mom, and then we're going to have our Fix It show with Daddy and Granddaddy.
We're gonna have fun little things to do, like little challenges that we're gonna do with each other.
We have a badminton tournament for the spring, our spring badminton tournament.
We've got a lot of exciting stuff to come up, and honestly, myself, I would just rather watch a video. Like, if somebody's talking, I'd just rather watch the video.
That's what Mama said.
The facial reactions, like, that you get, those are either priceless, or, you know, they'll make you feel the same emotion. Like, just watching KateLynn tell her story today, you know, that touched me, and which I empathize with people anyway, but still, when you see somebody, like, I see KateLynn, or I saw her almost, I mean, I would say at least twice a week when everything was going on with her, and I never knew that. Like, staring her right in the face and not knowing any of that, and now she's sharing it with me 5 months later, like, that, you know, I don't know, I feel like you would feel that
triggered
pain if
sadness.
I feel like you would feel that pain if you were watching. So, which, even when I was laughing yesterday when I was watching the video of us talking about your birth story, I just, watching me and you cut up and laugh about you peeing on yourself, like, it just made it more funny, like, because, you know, my laugh is silent most of the time,
but watching you laugh is funny.
Yeah. So,
but
anyway,
we're also, we've also started a new subscription. So in the subscription, you'll get these podcasts ad-free. And you'll also get our new series called Walk With Us. So in that series, you'll get to listen to us on our daily exercise journey. And so it was titled The Running Chronicles, but we decided to stop running and to start walking.
Because you can't hear us well. We're just like
out of breath and running. And we feel that we're getting the same amount of working out as we would be with running, other than the cardio part. And we're getting to chat to each other about little things that you can't make a whole entire podcast episode off of. So these will be at least 3 times a week. This week we kind of dropped the ball, didn't record one day, and then didn't exercise the next day. So you'll get 3 episodes from this week. They will not come out until April, so you'll have almost half a month's worth by the time they start coming out in April. The subscription will be $2.99 for the ad-free episodes, and then those Walk With Us series. So I wanted to make mention of that.